Part of the love of playing sports is the thrill you get from the highs and the lows of the game. You can kind of dive deeper into the story, use some editing techniques, use some video techniques to kind of immerse the viewer in that situation, and that's what I really like about the storytelling side of creating videos.
We are surrounded by content. Content shapes who we follow, how we lead, what we buy, and even what we believe. Welcome to the Content Generation Podcast, a class intercom production where we focus on the stories that come to life in schools all over the world. We highlight the students, educators, and communities who share the content that shapes our future.
Welcome back to the Content Generation Podcast. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm here with Dr. Jill Johnson, and we are going to be talking a little bit about some of the conversations we've been having with students lately. And Jill, I'm really excited. I just got the chance to meet with our 2023 Content Generation Award winner, who you've met in person. I had a great chance to interview him, and I think this is going to be a really exciting conversation. Caden Block is his name, and he's a fantastic senior at Hastings High.
Caden's such a great student and just overall person. We really enjoyed meeting him when he came to the workshop in October, and you could see something special in Caden and their whole team, just the excitement that they had when they left the workshop. So I'm not surprised at all that Caden carried that through, ended up creating a really cool video. He put a ton of work into it to highlight how they're making an impact in just one way at Hastings. So really fun to meet Caden in person, and I know all of you are going to enjoy meeting him as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, we broke down the video that he made, but behind the video is a lot of depth. And Caden is actually a volunteer and has been a mentor through a program that allows him to spend some time as a high school senior mentoring young people. But then he also, when he was asked to talk about impact, that's what he chose. So we had assigned out for the Content Generation Award that we would want to highlight impact and how you or your school has an impact. And he really jumped at that chance. And turns out it sounds like he wants to study some of those things professionally, and really is storytelling has become such an important part of his career path. And I'm excited to follow him and stay connected.
Yeah, I have no doubt that those of you that listen to Caden and hear more of his story, that he will have an impact on you too. It seems like not a lot of seniors will really know they want to be storytellers, but it seems that every day I get surprised in a really great way by students who, when given the opportunity, either have skills, they have that creativity, they want their stories to be told, and they want to be storytellers too. So by giving opportunity, it really you will really be surprised by how good.
Well, I don't want to Block anymore. Block is his last name, and you'll certainly hear some more about his story and how he's impacting his school, how he's involved on campus, and ultimately how that's going to lead to more opportunities for him down the road. So we're excited to have him in the Content Generation and excited for you to get to listen to it. Well, welcome back to the Content Generation Podcast. I am joined with a special guest today. I am joined with Caden Block. Caden is a senior at Hastings High School. And Caden, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Man, it's fun to get to be with you here in the podcast. I was just over at your school for an exceptional award. So you were the recipient of the 2023 Content Generation Award. So congrats on that.
Thank you very much.
It was huge. We had some photos to go along with it. Also, I didn't know this from your videos, but I learned this in person, that you are extremely tall.
Yes.
I also had not looked at your huddle highlights until after we met in person, but you have some tremendous huddle highlights, huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Caden, it's really fun to be with you. And I think sometimes we talk about high school as being kind of a different experience. And I want to get into some of how you developed content and some of the things you're doing because I think it's really exceptional. Some of the things you're creating for content. But first, let's get to know a little bit. It's where are you at in school? Tell us a little bit about where you're at and what life looks like in Hastings.
So yeah, entering second semester, halfway through our basketball season, kind of have some senioritis. I think a lot of people do. Just eager to kind of make a decision on college and move forward with that. But right now, it's been pretty smooth. So I actually moved to Hastings the start of my freshman year. So that was a change going from a bigger Class B school, coming from a D2 school with I had the biggest class of 17 in the whole school. So that was definitely an interesting transition, but Hastings has really been good for me and provided me with a lot of opportunities.
Well, that's awesome. I got a little bit of a chance to meet. I'm sure you'll talk a little bit about some of your teachers and their impact, but also on the basketball court. Let's get this out of the way. Your last name is Block, and you've had a few blocks there for Hastings.
Yeah, just a few. So
So when you say a few, there are what are the records and where do they stand for you at Hastings?
So the single game record is held by two other people, and I broke that last year against Aurora, which was kind of cool because I grew up just 5 miles away from them in Hampton. So I tied that with 8, and then I broke a long-standing season record of 53, and I had 55 that season. Finished my junior year with 69 total blocks. So I'm looking to get to 100. I'm pretty close. I think I'm around the 85 or 90 mark. So trying to get 100 in my career.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congrats for your on the court performance. When we talked in person, though, we talked a bit more about the content you're creating and what that can look like for you in the future. So, walk me through a little bit of your experience at Hastings High School and what that experience of getting started creating content has been. Both in the classroom and on your own.
Yeah. So I guess I started kind of in the content, just messing around with it, especially during COVID. So my mom actually used to be a photographer, so we always had a camera laying around, and I picked that up every other month or so. Go take a few photos of stuff outside, just whenever I was bored. And then actually my last year, I got hurt during track season, and I still wanted to go to the meets and support my teammates, but I figured I'd bring a camera along to pass the time and just kind of seeing the joy that came from my teammates of taking pictures of them in action and just myself even kind of that validation and stuff like that kind of had me hooked. But again, I didn't really have an opportunity to show that show that or express that to other people. And then I was approached by actually one of the assistant basketball coaches who teaches some business classes here, and he um, was uh, tasked with starting a new um, media production class as we got a new video board in our gym. So I figured, why not try it out? Me and him get along really well. I see him every day at basketball, so it was a no-brainer to take that class.
And what's his name?
Dylan Flynn, Mr.
Yes.
Flynn,
And
teaches.
so Mr. Flynn's he's the assistant basketball coach, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And he took on this as a new class.
Yes. Correct.
Awesome. Awesome.
So then, kind of just exploring that, we got our hands on 3 new video cameras. Kind of a learning process to work through those. We had the media professor at Hastings College come down and help us a little bit, which was really useful. And since then, we've just been kind of honing our skills, learning a bunch of new stuff, and putting out content.
Sweet. So how do you determine how you come up with the content you come up with? What like what do you cover and where do you come up with those ideas?
Yeah. So Mr. Flynn kind of did a really good job starting us with not just jumping into videos, but learning the pre-production process, laying out what we want to do for our videos, who we want to target. Um, so our main focus has been sports, obviously start out with because that's where our video board is. We took on football was our main one as you have a week in between games to kind of produce stuff, and then we did some stuff for volleyball too. Um, Kind of just promoting games and filming and all that kind of stuff, learning some editing techniques and stuff so we can put together videos. To announce games is our main thing right now. Do some recaps of like the fall season. We'll have a winter one coming up here soon once that ends, and then we'll finish off the year with a spring sport recap. That's kind of our big capstone projects for the each third of the year. So
Cool. So when we talked in person, obviously there's multiple different ways that video and social media get covered. And one of the things you talked to me about was the difference between a live stream where we're broadcasting, we're talking, we're sort of in front of the camera like we are now, versus telling the stories of others. And you talked to me a little bit about the latter and how you really liked that part of it. Can you shed some light on why that is?
yeah, I think especially for me coming from a sports background, part of the love of playing sports is the thrill you get from the highs and the lows of the game. And with broadcasting, you can see that real time and like announcers can react and stuff like that, but you don't really get an in-depth feeling of what the players are feeling, what the team is feeling. And with more of storytelling, I feel like you can kind of dive deeper into the story, use some editing techniques, use some video techniques to kind of immerse the viewer in that situation, and that's what I really like about the storytelling side of creating videos.
Yeah, I love that. And can you walk me through a little bit of what you created for the Content Generation Award?
Yeah, so I've been part of the Mentoring Works program. That's a program where they match high school students with elementary age kids who um, might not be struggling, but might need a little bit of assistance or just a break away from school once a week. So you meet up for roughly 30 minutes every week, and you can play games, talk, do whatever. It's just a time for the high schooler to kind of be with the elementary age kid and de-stress from their stressful school life, but then also give that elementary student kind of a fun experience that they can look forward to every week. So I've been part of that for about a year and a half, and definitely has impacted me, but definitely my mentee a lot. And just this content generation award with the theme of make an impact, I felt that was the clear choice of where I have made an impact. Um, and so with some of the video techniques, I went there, interviewed some of the directors, interviewed my mentee, and then got some B-roll to kind of tell the story of just fitting in at the school and how you can make an impact there. And that's where I really was able to see that as I've been focused in sports a lot, how content can um, affect more than just like a sports field or a court, and how it can extend beyond those lines. And it was really cool to see that after about a week or two, just starting to hear, and there was more like mentors reported having interest in the program and signing up. And even I just hear around the school more and more of my classmates talking about it and saying how they were starting to get involved in that, which was really cool to see.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, as I looked at that video, I think it'd be great if you'd walk us through just a little bit of that video, and I'm going to let it play here so we can talk through it. Yeah, let's talk through a little bit of what you came up with and what this looks like.
We became Mentoring Works. Primary program that we offer is the School Connect program, and this is where we match high school and college age kids with elementary age kiddos. They run through fifth grade kids, and they spend 30 minutes once a week playing together. We offer them activities, puzzles, games, books, things they like, and they just get to play for 30 minutes once a week and build a relationship that way.
Mentoring works is a lot of fun, and that a lot of people that need some help should do it.
For the mentor, it definitely gives them a sense of responsibility, and you are helping shape a young child into a positive person.
It's true. Every kid deserves a mentor. Every kid deserves to feel wanted and loved.
Yeah, I love that, man. So when we start to think about where you came up with this and where you went with that, obviously you had a first person interaction with this program, but walk me through a little bit of why you chose it, why you thought it was so important, and what type of impact that makes.
Yeah, so obviously, with the theme Make an Impact, like I said earlier, it was clear that that was an area in my life that would definitely suit the theme. So when I started with my mentee last year, obviously kids, they're going to mess around a little bit, but he had behavior charts in his class, and he'd have to get a letter sent home every week. We kind of talked through that while also having fun. Um, and this year, he's got a new teacher, and he doesn't have any more charts. It's really cool when I go bring him back to his classroom after our meetings. All of his classmates say hi to me. It kind of gives him a sense of pride, um, which I think has definitely helped him boost his confidence a little bit. He has never been quiet, but he's definitely learned how to be more confident and around his classmates and stuff like that. And I think that has helped. And what's even really cool is like I was handing out Halloween candy this Halloween, and some kids walked up and said, "Hey, are you this mentee's mentor?" And I said, "Yeah," and they thought it was really cool. So it's kind of cool um, that they recognize me outside of school and they connect that back to one of their fellow classmates at school.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love the impact that it's making on you, right?
Yeah.
Like it sounds like your mentee has learned a lot, and that's been awesome to see that development. And also, so was that your mentee's teacher that you highlighted in that?
That was the directors of the of Mentoring Works, but then the kid in there was my mentee from, and like I said, he did a really good job. We just kind of had a
Yeah.
conversation back and forth, and I put the camera on him. You could tell he was a little bit nervous in there, but he did a good job of kind of vocalizing how it's helped him and how it can help others.
Yeah, yeah. So this is, this has been transformative for you. Obviously, it's impacting his peers. It's impacting your school. You know, as I got a little bit of a chance through a tour to get to meet some of the teachers there at Hastings. Obviously, they're being impacted in a positive way by the content that you're creating. But also, this is impacting a little bit of what you're thinking about doing in the future as well. So tell me a little bit about how a first year class, I bet Mr. Flynn is starting to inspire what you might do at the next level for school and career as well.
Yeah, so he's done a really good job of teaching us a bunch of stuff, but also bringing in outside resources because he admits he doesn't know everything either as a first year teacher. And we worked through it, but he's brought in people from UNL and Lincoln, from Hastings College here in town, kind of give us a bunch of resources and present us with opportunities to be successful in the future in this field. And he realizes that not everybody's going to pursue that path, but as the world keeps evolving towards more digital and online content, kind of give us some of those skills to have a step ahead of other people, maybe in our future jobs, something that we can bring to the table. And yeah, it's definitely impacted me on my decision going into college because I wasn't sure really what I wanted to do in college. I'd explored like physical therapy, or I took a welding class that interested me. And kind of a theme came out of those is that I wanted to help others, but I didn't want to be stuck at a desk all day. And content generation definitely uh, is an avenue that provides solutions to both of those as you definitely help and impact others' lives. But you get to go out and be a part of kind of what you create, which I think is really beneficial and very intriguing for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that you're paying it forward and you're telling other people's stories. I'm really excited to follow you and catch up even after you graduate high school and see what those career opportunities look like for you. Because clearly, every profession needs great
Exactly.
storytellers,
Yeah.
and you're well on your way to becoming a great storyteller. As we were breaking down some of that video when I was at Hastings, you were saying, I really like the storytelling aspect, and it's evident in your work that you're not just telling the obvious story. You're starting to dig deeper, and I think that's a huge opportunity, huge compliment to you and to all the work that's happening at Hastings. So, congrats, man.
Thank you very much.
Anything you would love to share with our listeners about how they can get something like Mr. Flynn's class started, or anything you'd love to inspire other students like yourself?
Um, I mean, it's really as simple as a lot of the stuff we do in class, we learn on YouTube. At the beginning of every class, we have just little snippet videos that we walk through as a class together and learn new effects for editing. Um, Definitely a lot of teamwork goes into it. So if you can find somebody or another group of people to kind of bounce ideas off of, that definitely helps. But really, it's just trial and error. The first videos that we made, you can look back, they're really, really bad. But kind of just continuing to work through the process, um, even though it can be frustrating at times with technology, just kind of using outside resources to help you is definitely beneficial. Like even on that video that I made, the audio on it, I realized midway through the interview was going to be terrible because there was something running in the background. So it took a lot of kind of toggling with some different audio silencers and stuff like that, and even going to the college and seeking help from a professor to kind of help me work through that so I could be presentable. But just rely on others as well as do your own research. And um, if you want to make it good, you definitely can. There's definitely ways that you can improve your content.
That's awesome, Caden. So now that you're coming up on graduation in May, and as we were chatting before, jury's still out on where you go and what's next exactly. But we know that content creation is going to be a huge part of it, and certainly at Class Intercom, we're grateful for you and Hastings being a part of the program. But what does it look like for Hastings after you graduate? Are there some students that are starting to pick up the tools from you and start to learn what they can do as well?
Yeah, definitely. So there's interest. Like the first times we brought out the cameras at the pep rally, I probably had 15 or 20 people ask me, "What are you doing? Is this for a class?" So the word is definitely spread about our class, and I think there's definitely people interested. And Mr. Flynn's done a great job about trying to expand what we have. We bought some new lights that we've been messing around with a grant from the district, and they definitely do a good job supporting, providing us with equipment. And there's plenty of opportunities in our school. As we are a Class B school, we have a bunch of different avenues, and we started to explore just outside of sports as well, trying to promote the teachers, the faculty, just everything here at Hastings High. So there's definitely plenty of avenues for people to explore. Um, and yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities in the future. And if Mr. Flynn stays teaching the class, I think it'll turn out very well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for spending some time with us today, Caden. I know you had some snow days this week, and hopefully you can catch up on some classes. Thanks for taking a little bit of moment out of class. And congrats on the last semester. Best wishes, and let us know. Stay in touch. We'd love to hear what's next for you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.